Welcome to the Freelance Tribe. Here we talk with skilled freelancers about their professional journey. Stay tuned for real-life experiences to learn and actionable steps to take to improve your freelancing career. My name is Yuri. I'm a community builder at Code Control and 9am.works, and my guest is Cihan Kileci, a managing director at Ember Design Studio, an experienced UX UI designer and front-end developer, and a few SaaS startups founder who believes in Nintendo's quit screen wisdom that everything not saved will be lost. And today we'll discuss why being good at your craft is not enough to succeed as a freelancer. So welcome, Cihan.
Yuri, thanks for having me.
Super happy to talk to you. Like from the Freelance Unlocked conference till now, you was on my list of people to talk to, and finally we're having this conversation. So the first question, from your perspective, what is a description of a good freelancer today?
I think a lot of points that I could touch on, we will talk about later. But in general, I think that freelancers need to understand that they are, how can I put this? Freelancers need to understand that they are building a business for themselves, right? Most people feel like they are good at something. For example, they are good at coding, and now they want to get out and spread the word that they are doing good code things, right? And they often lack the vision of how do I do my sales, how do I manage my projects, all the legal aspects of the business, right? So I do think that a good freelancer not only knows his trade, coding, for example, but has at least a good overview of all the other business parts of his endeavor. And I think that is one of the main parts of being a good freelancer, having a good overview about the skill sets that you actually need to succeed as a company owner or a businessman, so to say.
And it's interesting because people usually approach it, okay, I'm a freelancer. I will be just sitting somewhere in front of the sea with a laptop, like drinking some kind of cocktail, and then money will just go to my account and I will make all these photos on laptops on the beach. But at the end of the day, you have to be a salesperson, marketing, personal brand maker, social media manager. You have to build your own community. You have to know how to find clients. You have to know how to nurture them, etc. And then at the end of the day, like, wait, when do I exactly do some real job? Like, I mean, something that you are professional at. And from your perspective, like, it's a super competitive market nowadays, currently. I hear this a lot that in the like past 5, 10 years, if a freelancer goes on the market, clients find them. Now freelancers search for clients. So how can a freelancer stand out effectively in such a competitive market?
Yeah, so from my experience, I was a freelancer before founding my agency. I believe I was a freelancer for about 8 years or so, so quite a long time. And back in the day, as you already said, it was actually quite easy for me to acquire clients. I just talked to like some sort of freelance recruiting agency, and they honestly provided me with good jobs, and I could even choose the jobs that I want to go in, right? That was the market a few years ago, even, I think, right? And now I see this switch happening in the market. There are a lot of reasons why this switch happens. I don't think this is like the spot to talk about that, but it is happening, right? There is a switch in the market. The demand changes at least, right? And people should be more aware about how to acquire clients. And to answer your question directly, I do think that things like personal branding, like, I mean, first of all, I see lots of freelancers that don't have good websites, especially designers or coders. And I'm always like, okay, you want to sell services that you don't show upfront. How can that be? And if they have websites, their websites are not good. And when I speak to those freelancers, they're like, yeah, I'm only coding, right? I'm not a conceptor. I'm not a designer. My website is very code specific. And I'm like, that's not the point. Your clients have problems that they want you to solve, and you should communicate in a proper way that you are actually the right fit to solve their problems. And just showing code simply doesn't solve the problem.
So if someone can't do like good website, do they even need to have this? Like, isn't it enough to have just LinkedIn profile?
That's an interesting question. So I'm a big fan of having a proper website because I do think that this is somewhat like the business card that even if people know you from social media, they might want to understand you a bit more and a bit deeper. And for that, I do think that a website is a very vital asset in your marketing to actually gain new clients. But obviously, it does work without a website. um it even works without a LinkedIn. I don't think you need that, but you need to have some sort of networking strategy in place to actually gain the attention and to inform your potential clients about your presence and your skill set and stuff like that. Whatever your tool set might be, it might be going to a meetup every week. It might be having the best business card physical in your hand that is possible, humanely designable. It might be a great website. It might be that you are very active in community building on LinkedIn. So I'm not saying you need a website. I'm just saying that you need a place, wherever that might be, so that people can actually understand you as a person and understand your services and the quality of your services.
It's super interesting that you mentioned that. And I feel like if you are not there, how do people know that you exist? And that's something that many freelancers forget about, that if you are not present online, in-person meetups, anywhere where your potential clients are, how do they know that you exist? And I'm curious, like from your perspective. So you mentioned like we had like website, LinkedIn, in-person meetups. What are other platforms or events
Yeah.
where freelancers have to go to get clients?
Um, So, I mean, you kind of answered that question by asking the question. A freelancer should go where his clients are. So, going to meetups with other freelancers is a great spot to actually learn about freelancing, learning about solving your own issues, right? But it's not a great spot to actually acquire clients. So, if you are in the business, I don't know, um, if you are in the business for building websites for gardeners, for example, then you should go to an expo where gardeners are and try to come up with like a short pitch that you can deliver in like a minute, in a minute's talk or something like that, that makes every gardener want you as their, for example, web designer, right? That is a very good idea. So my first suggestion here would be go where your potential clients actually are. And the second part of this is, which could be a bit contradictory, but hear me out here, is outsource your sales. I think this is a very vital part of it. As I said earlier, I had good success with just recruiting companies. I'm not gonna call names now, but there are big international recruiting agencies that actually are looking for freelancers for projects for big and good clients, right? Why not have a chat with them? That makes complete sense. There are obviously, there are different types of online platforms where you basically can upload a CV or have some sort of presence on these platforms, and these platforms provide you with basically leads or contacts with potential clients. So I would do a mix. I would say you personally, as a freelancer, should go exactly there to the place where your dream clients are. The most effort you personally should be putting in is to get the clients that you really, really, really want, right? There's where you personally should be, your personal brand, and you physically even, right? And the second part of it, to have like a general sales buzz, is just spread the word, talk to agencies, talk to companies that hire people, lots of people. Go to I think multiplication is the correct word here. Try to multiplicate your standard work and try to strive as a person for the special work you really want to do. That would be my strategy as a freelancer, I think.
And yeah, I totally agree with you, because if you are working with agencies, they basically have what you need, or at least they go also to give you projects, even though they're adding like their percentage on top. But yes, like you're kind of, as you've told, outsourcing sales, so it works. And when you are doing your own job, you still have to have these good relationships with recruiters, because who knows, like you can have amazing projects from them. The worst case scenario, like you are not losing anything, like you
Right. And
just.
I also feel like people are giving agencies and recruiting firms very bad rep, because freelancers always feel like, yeah, but they are earning money due to my work. And no, that's not the case. The case here is that sales actually costs you money. You have to pay for your sales. And people that give you sales opportunities, that is worth money. So pay them. That's fine. The only thing here to remember is pay yourself first. So how can I say this? Just because you have a recruiting agent in between you and the client does not mean you have to cater all the costs of the recruiting agent. Just slap his costs onto your costs. It does not have to cost you real money, right? That is a thing that most people get wrong, I think. So, for example, agencies most of the time are able to rake in a better hourly rate due to various reasons, and freelancers should not feel bad that they only get a fraction of the money that the agencies get. They should be happy with the rate that they bargain with the agency, and then happily work for the agency. I really don't think there should be any bad mouthing in one or the other direction. Just make sure that the payment you get is good for you, and don't even think about the money that other people are making. As long as it's fair for you, everything is fine. It's not even your concern how much money other people are making.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, okay, so we had previous conversations on this podcast about exactly how agencies doing some bad work and like adding like, I don't know, 50, 60% on top. But it's like super crazy. It's like more like a rumors. And usually agencies are also interested in, getting projects fast and to making money, not just in amount, but in quantity. And it's totally true that you have to be sure that you are good enough with the rate. So nobody pushes you to work with. You can just you have your rate. You're happy with it. If it's good, it's good. If not, you are doing it by yourself. So talking about outsourcing or not outsourcing. So aside from their professional knowledge that freelancers have, what other skills or maybe knowledge or experiences must every freelancers have to succeed?
So first of all, I do think that this is an attitude thing, right? Freelancers are not just freelancers, they are building their business, right? And this is a mindset thing. I'm not sitting here drinking a cappuccino at the beachside and writing code. You are building your business. Your business needs to be financial secure. It needs to have like a vision and a perspective for the outcome of the future. Where do you want to go, and what are the steps that you reverse engineer to actually get there? And I feel like most people get lost in between. But okay, let's be pragmatic about this, and let's assume that the freelancers we are talking about have already the right attitude, which, by the way, I think is the main problem number one, getting to the right attitude, right? But yeah, obviously, and I do think that even the most important skill of a freelancer should be sales, actually, because you can be as good as you. Oh, I can maybe throw in a fun fact about myself. So I was very hardworking in my. I mean, I'm still hardworking. I hope, right? But back in the day, I was like really nerding out on tech topics and on design topics, and I just thought I needed to get better at what I actually do. And the older I got and the more experienced I got, I realized it's really not about how competent I am. It's really about how many people do I know, how many people would like to work with me, and how is the level of my communication, and how are like my business or project management processes working for me and for them. Because the best programmer or designer that you can hire for a lot of money still might make a bad project. And if the project, how can I say this? I think in some projects there is a tipping point. You miss deadlines. It's hard to communicate with the client, stuff like that. So eventually, at some point, shit will hit the fan, right? And how you manage those critical situations is a skill in itself, right? And so I'm not even a big fan of very, very good coders. Being a good freelancer for me means taking action in a timely manner, making the right decisions, and getting shit done. I would rather have a freelancer that actually solves a problem in time with good manners and in good spirits than have a better freelancer that writes a tiny bit of more efficient code, but I don't enjoy working with him, you know? So first of all, this again is an attitude thing, I guess. Work on how you approach projects. Work on how you communicate with your colleagues and clients. This is a very, very vital skill you should have. And I think competence is overrated. Like technical competence is overrated. Obviously, you need to be good. If you're not good, don't start freelancing, right? But the gain that you get from getting better in what you actually are already good at is very minimal. And the gain that you get by making everyone of your team, that includes your client, happy is actually a great skill to have that adds great value to you. Okay, but to answer your question directly now, I do think that sales is the most important part. No projects, no money, no freelancing. That's straightforward, right? I do think that another very important part is project management. Every freelancer is a project manager. How do you write emails? What types of documents do you provide your clients with? How do you approach Q&A cycles? That sort of thing. I also think that most freelancers are underdeveloped in legal regards. So do you have your contracts in place? What do you do when your client does not pay? How do you communicate that? When do you escalate that to some authority, right? And these parts, yeah, those would be the general topics, I think.
How do you learn all those topics?
Oh, blood, sweat, and tears in my case, honestly. I mean, obviously, you could get a business degree up first, right? I mean, there are theoretical degrees, at least in German, like yeah, business degrees are international, I guess. But I actually don't think that's the best way to do it. Having that should be a bonus, I believe. But from my experience, just how can I put this? I think every freelancer should have a certain sense of quality. What is good project management? What is good sales? Right? And you don't need to have all the answers, but you have this gut feeling, I'm not doing sales good enough. And then you need to have the urge and, so to say, the balls to grind through that feeling, because feeling something does not really help you. Even knowing something doesn't really help you. You really need to grind out what you know, what you feel, and come up with a solution for a certain problem. And it's very hard to have like a standard plan or a standard suggestion, because every problem that any individual freelancer could have could be very, very individual, right? So my general answer, I think, would be trust your feelings. If you think something is bad, look into it, grind through it, come up with a solution, and even try to measure that. And also I'm a strong believer of mentor and mentorship relationships, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Look out for, I don't know, maybe 5 people that are in a similar career point in their life that you can talk to on a regular basis. I think that helps a lot. And if you can get someone or a few certain people that already did what you do,
Hmm.
stay close to them, talk to them. And I'm one thing that is important to me. I'm not necessarily talking about coaches here. I don't want you to go to sales coaches. There might be great sales coaches. Uh, I'm not trying to shit talk them here right now, right? But look out for people that have achieved already in their past what you want to achieve. If you are a web designer, look for experienced web designers that have a high income, right? I would always go with these kind of mentors as opposed to sales coaches. Yeah, pretty much that, I think.
And I'd say, as you've said, that mentors, they've been there, done that.
Exactly.
So it's not like, I have some theory, there is how it has to be done in theory. Like maybe it will work for you, maybe it won't. But also what I personally like about mentors that they tell you like, hey, here's how it worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you. Let's go through this journey together. So
I
it's
would even go deeper. I think the most things that I learned in life are from my failures. So if someone I'm a designer myself, in case that wasn't clear already. So if a designer would ask me, what should I do? I would not only tell him my opinion, what worked for me, I can also deliver a plethora of things that I tried before that did not work. So even hearing from the failures of others is a great learning experience. But still, in the end, it's blood, sweat, tears, and good communication with fellow people that get you through this. I'm not a big fan. I mean, I did go to university and I finished my degrees and stuff like that. So um, uh, and I like the academic part of going through all this, but I don't necessarily think that theoretical information is going to help you solve real problems. It's most often just grinding through them.
I would just only add one thing that as a freelancer you have to be curious because
Yeah.
if you are curious, if you're open to new things, if you do not have biases in your mind and you are open like to listen to people, to hear to different experience, to hear to all those failures, to all those mistakes, and then make your own mistakes, I feel like it can, propel you much more forward than just doing your own mistakes.
And by the way, this skill set to actually how to approach mentors and fellow freelancers, this already in itself is a skill set, and it's almost the same skill set that you need for understanding what your clients want and need.
Yeah.
Right. I just had the conversation about like hourly rates with a freelancer, right? And that freelancer had the feeling that he needed to go down with his hourly rates just because of the pressure of the client. And my
Yeah.
stance on this always is don't barter on your hourly rates too much. Set your rates very rigid, but ask the client, why do you want that? Is it that you want the project? Is it speed that you're concerned about? Is it like what is the real issue here? Are you afraid that I cannot finish the job in time? Then you can switch the entire money conversation into a conversation of trust. Please trust me. I can provide you with testimonials. I can provide you with examples. I'm the right guy for this job. And then you don't talk that much about money anymore. So
Yeah.
the what I'm trying to say is understanding people in every way is a great skill in business in general, I think, and in life maybe even.
Cihan, I wish to have the sky's the limit to our conversation, but time is the limit. So the
Fair,
final
fair.
question, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food. Oh, okay. So that would be something Japanese. I'm learning Japanese right now. I would say chicken gyoza.
Got it, got it. And what is the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, obviously it's I think you can go to our website. It's www Ember with an E at the end, dash design dot de. And with me personally, it would be via my LinkedIn. My name is Cihan Kileci, and I'm really looking forward to answering your messages.
Got it, Chihan. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, and it's been such a pleasure to hear and learn from you.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, hit the like button on 5 stars and share it with your friend. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.